Hello, internship hosts. This is Stephanie Remick with an update about how to submit your rankings for internship. It is very, very important that you submit your rankings by 5 p.m. on October 19th. Students will also be submitting their rankings, and then I will be making all final placements. Do not email students an offer for your internship. I will be making all final placements, and students will be receiving the information about their final internship through our match day on November 16th. So it is very important that you do not reach out to students at this time to let them know they've been accepted to your internship. I will be making all final placements, and I will be communicating that to the students, and I will also be communicating the final internship placements to you all as well. So please refrain from reaching out to students in any capacity as in regards to your final placements. The first 3 questions here are pretty basic. This is going to help me understand who is submitting what rankings, and that's why these are all required. This first question is about our interview fair on November 9th. I'm highly confident that I will be able to place every student that has done an interview with an organization that has already completed interviews. However, if for some reason your rankings and student rankings don't match up, I do want to provide you with the option to participate in continued interviews at our interview fair on November 9th from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. This event will be hosted at the school, and if you're interested in participating and interviewing more candidates at the interview fair, I will follow up with you with additional details. So you should select yes if you're saying, essentially, I am willing to continue on with the interview process if I do not receive an intern through the current match. You would select no, and if you select no, you're essentially saying, if I can't get an intern through this internship match, then we will bow out of the process for this year and we will not host an intern in the spring. Other is basically saying, I think I would be interested in attending the interview fair, however, there may be some caveats. Please note that if you are not available to attend the fair on November 9th, that's okay. We're just looking for somebody else from your organization to attend the interview fair in your place. But again, this other is kind of giving you some wiggle room if you're unsure at this time. The next section of the form asks you to actually rank the students. I need you to submit a ranking of every single student that you interviewed. And that's because I need to ensure that every single student receives a placement. And this also serves as my way of double checking which students actually completed their interviews. If you did not interview a student, do not rank them. So if you were emailing with them and it went back and forth and they never actually attended an interview, do not rank them. Only rank the students that you actually completed an interview with. And they should be ranked in order of preference. So first choice is the student you would most prefer to work with as your intern. Second is your second preference. Third is your third preference, etc. You'll notice that I've required every single organization to submit a first, second, and third choice, and that's because everyone that is participating is hosting at least one intern, and we asked everyone to interview at least 3 candidates for each position. So everyone should be able to submit a first, second, and third choice. I've also created this as a drop-down menu because I wanted to ensure that we had everyone submitting names as accurately as possible. You should be able to simply type in a student's name to search the list rather than scrolling through the list in total. However, if you would like to scroll through the list in total, they are listed alphabetically by first name. So for example, if I were submitting my first choice here, I could type in Kevin Baker, second choice maybe Kevin Ford, and third choice maybe Kevin Johnson. And again, you'll notice that I've ranked all of the Kevins, and this is exactly why I wanted to make sure that I provided the names, because I wanted to ensure that we had the accurate record of which student you are requesting. We have 3 Kevins, so please make sure you look back at your emails and you look back at your resumes to make sure that the student you want is the name that shows up on the form. You'll notice the 4th, 5th, and 6th choice are not required. If you did interview additional candidates beyond 3, you should insert student names for 4th, 5th, and 6th choice. So I could continue here and I would say, maybe I was interested in hosting Riley, but Riley's name doesn't show up right away. That's because his first name is actually Kevon. And so you'll know Riley is in parentheses there. Okay, so again, and I accidentally clicked Kevin Baker again. So let's select Riley. So Kevon Walker goes by the name Riley, so that's how he refers to himself, and that's how his name appears on this list. Another student that goes by his middle name is Jonathan. Jonathan Winston, you may have him in your email as Damon Winston. Damon is his first name. He goes by his middle name, Jonathan. He appears in the candidate rankings as Jonathan. And then let's say I didn't actually end up interviewing a sixth candidate, even though I'm hosting 2 interns. There is the option to put NA, meaning not applicable. And that's fine, and you could submit them in that way. If you interviewed more than 6 students, so I know Kid Power, Bright Beginnings, Center for Inspired Teaching, and City Bridge, I believe, interviewed a whole slew of students. In this section, I would really like you to use this space to continue ranking the students in order of preference. Please do not simply list out the students. Continue the numbered ordering. So for instance, I would write 7, so here I've just inputted, I interviewed 3 additional candidates. These are their names in order and numbered. This is really going to help me get an understanding of how each student did in their interviews. All right, this next question is about how many interns you're willing to accept at this time. A lot of you have said, you know, as I'm doing the interviews, I've really enjoyed meeting the students. I'd like to host more than I originally registered for, and that's great. I absolutely need the placements. So please, by all means, use this space to say how many interns at this time you're willing to accept. So if you initially signed up for 2, but you're saying, I'd really like to host 3, great. If you signed up for 1, but you're now willing to host 2, awesome. Please use this form to tell me how many interns you would be willing to accept. Are there any candidates you do not believe would be a good fit for your organization? Please explain. This is the space for you to provide any notes or caveats about students that you are concerned would not be a good fit for your organization. And please, it is absolutely okay to say who they are, because we know that not every student is going to be the best fit for every single organization. So please use this space and be specific. So if you think, for instance, Ronchelle Gross was really great Okay, this is a really broad statement, but Ronchelle Gross was really great, but she was interested in tech, and we don't offer any of those opportunities. Fine, that is good for me to know. Or you might want to be a little more specific. That's fine too. Letting me know that a student's not going to be a good fit because they're really shy and you need them to be able to engage with clients and you're concerned that that student won't get the best experience because of that. That's fine. Just let me know in whatever way possible if there's a student you absolutely would not like to work with as an intern. If you're okay with me assigning any single student, you can write NA, or you can simply leave this question blank because it is not a required question. Is there any other information Stephanie should know when making final placement decisions? This is the space that actually goes back to this question. So if you're someone that said, you know what, I would really be interested in hosting 2 interns, but I'm only interested in hosting 2 interns if it can be Jerome and Maria, for example. This is the space where you would write that answer. So for instance, you might say, Okay, so this is letting me know that yes, we said we would take 2 interns, but we'll only take 2 interns if we can get these 2 specific students. If we can't get these 2 specific students, then we would be willing to work with either one of them, or ultimately, if we can't have any of our top 2 choices, we will still host any intern that you're able to provide. That is the purpose of this question. However, if there's anything else that you just want me to know, regardless of the number of interns that you have, this is that space to put it here. And then finally, I am looking for feedback as to how we can improve the interview process in the future. I know we had some students miss interviews. I know we had some students show up late to interviews. I know we even had some parents show up at interviews. So if there was anything that came up during the interview process that you want me to be aware of, please let me know. I will take that into consideration as we look to improve the program next year. Thank you all so much for being with us throughout this process and taking the time to work with our students and be patient as they are learning how to navigate the adult professional working world. Again, this is the way that you submit your rankings. These rankings are due by 5 p.m. on October 19th so that I can make sure the students that need to be at the interview fair on November 9th have enough time to look at those opportunities. So again, only submit your rankings through this form by 5 p.m. on October 19th. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. You do know my email, sremick@wla@pcs.org. And finally, I cannot emphasize enough, make sure you rank every single student that you interviewed, as it's my double check as to which students actually completed their interviews, as it is an important grade for the next quarter. So 5 p.m. October 19th, complete this form. Thank you so much.